Is that even possible? As good as building with Lego? For me, that's seriously hard to beat. As a child, I learned how to be creative by playing with Lego. This is the first Lego set I had when I was 6 years old back in the late 70s. My parents were worried it was going to be too much for me with all the tiny pieces, but I was fascinated. I loved it. Every other toy was just one thing, but Lego could be anything. Lego was all I wanted. Christmas, birthdays, didn't matter. Just Lego. I could never have enough. It was how I first expressed myself and still brings me tons of joy to this very day. Who am I, you ask? I'm J. Matthew Root, artist, composer, toy maker, storyteller, wizard. And here's my avatar in Second Life. His name is Marcus Inkpen, and I'm always jealous of his hair. I've been building professionally in Second Life for more than a decade and have designed and created more items in Sims than I can count. This is just a small sample of what I've done. For those of you unfamiliar with it, Second Life is a gigantic virtual world online, which is a gaming type environment, but not a game. It's a place where you can be social, check out some incredible art, and make some of your own if you like. It's filled with amazing creative people from all over the globe. There are whole worlds of art to explore, live music, and lots of shopping, which is way cheaper than real life. There's fantasy sims, sci-fi sims, horror, relaxing beaches, and immersive cities. But for now, let's go back to the beginning. When I first discovered Second Life back in 2009, it reminded me so much of playing with Lego that I couldn't stop myself from building. Back then, you were mostly stuck creating everything out of primitive objects, which you could texture however you wanted, but they were still really just boxes, cylinders, and spheres, which is why it felt so similar to building with Lego. I loved it. I was hooked. Plus, you could build a house and then walk around in it and share that experience with anyone. Outside of video games at the time, that was unheard of. But for a while, complex and organic shapes were always a challenge in Second Life, until they finally introduced support for importing your own mesh shapes. That changed everything. Now I could use Blender to make exactly what I wanted and import it directly into Second Life. This finally brought my Second Life creations up to the level of my real-life art, which thrilled me immensely, but I noticed that something was missing once that happened. It gave me an awesome end result, but it didn't really feel like playing with Lego anymore. All the creativity happened in Blender, and I'm not complaining about that. I love Blender, I use it every day. It's the most important program on my computer, and I don't see that changing. But building in Second Life had been reduced to importing an object and placing it where you want it. You could enjoy the end result, but the creative part wasn't happening in world anymore. I knew lots of people who used to create in Second Life who just didn't have the time or inclination to learn Blender, and so they also felt this lack. I missed that energy until I found an idea about how I might bring the creative part of building back into Second Life, and hopefully bring that magic feeling back with it. I thought instead of creating finished buildings, I should create parts that I use to make the buildings, and that way the creativity can live in Second Life again. I tried to create shapes that would make it so you could get the realistic look and feel of mesh, but still have it so you can design and create inside of Second Life. So it might again have that wonderful feel of infinite possibility that Lego always gave me. And thus the MODit Building System was born. I didn't want to boil things down to individual bricks, but I wanted to be able to offer pieces that were designed to be modified, trying to keep in mind all the different ways that people might use them and be sure to always keep those possibilities as open as possible. My main thing is buildings. If I wasn't an artist, I might have been an architect. I love building structures, so I started with pieces you could use to build a house. Floors, doors, walls, and windows, roofs and stairways, and all those little detail bits that were so impossible back before mesh came to Second Life. but all made to be intuitive and easy to modify. I want you to always have the option to make it your own. Use things in ways that even I hadn't thought of and add your own creativity to them. The greatest compliment I've ever received is when people tell me I've inspired them to create. And that's what I want to provide. A way for you to experience the same joy of creation, but without having to bother to learn how to use a 3D application. It's supposed to be fun, and even though I love building in Blender, I can understand that it's not for everyone. So here's a system that lets you create what you want, designed to provide you as many options as possible without having to learn a different program or leave Second Life. So for the first two sets, I've concentrated on basic house construction, obviously with a bit of Victorian and Second Empire era design thrown in because I love that stuff, but really I wanted to keep everything more basic house design, just with some nice fancy bits for spice. The kind of design where you could just as easily create a ruined haunted house as a nice cozy family home just by using different textures and colors. Set 1 has more pieces because I was trying to cover all the bases for the roofs, and that's a lot of possibilities. But set 2 has less pieces, but they're all a good bit fancier, so it balances out. Both sets contain all of your basic foundation, wall, floor, stairs, and doorway pieces, as well as both large and small fireplaces. For the windows, doors, and roof pieces, each set has its own style, but I always made sure that they would work together so you can mix and match however you like. Along with the pieces, I've also included textures. This is the first time I'm selling my textures on their own. I've always made all my own textures, so over the many years I've been doing this, I've created quite a collection, and I thought it was time to share them with you. So these sets include a large amount of basic textures covering different woods, metals, concretes, bricks, siding, and floors, and special textures unique to each set for wall covering, window treatments, and door hardware. All high quality and tiling in all the ways you need them to. Also, I've included some materials for the roof shingles. That is a color texture along with a matching normal map to give it the right bumpiness and a shine map to make it reflect light realistically. And I've included a selection of different general purpose shine maps that can be used on anything in the same way. I've included all the scripts you'll need for the doors and windows so they'll open and close without you needing to learn how to script. But if you do know how to script, then these can be modded too. Feel free. And since the staircases are the trickiest part of any building, I've included 6 different ready-made staircase templates in each set, 3 for 2 stories and 3 for 3 stories. That way you can get a head start with a template and can build from that and not have to worry about the staircase working later on. I get a bit more detailed in the manual for these sets, which you can find on my website for free for anyone who's curious, links in the description. It also contains a bunch of helpful tips and tricks for building in Second Life that I've specifically designed these pieces to take advantage of. I've also created an extras pack full of all the little detail items you'll want for the house, including everything you'll need for the fireplaces. And for those who might want to use these pieces to create items for sale, I'm also, for the very first time, offering full perm versions of the pieces in these sets. It doesn't contain any textures, but it includes the shadow maps for all the pieces that use baked textures so you can match your textures to them easily. This way you can use these pieces with your own textures and create unique items for sale. All of this is available exclusively at the SL Living Expo with an introductory sales price of 15% off. The expo starts on March 3rd, this Friday, and goes to March 12th. After that, everything will be available on our sim or on Second Life's marketplace shopping website at full price. Thanks so much for checking this out with me. I really hope it helps bring that playing with Lego feel back into Second Life for you all. It has for me already. Building the demo houses for these sets really was a joy and reminded me of that feeling of infinite possibility. If you enjoy building, give one of these sets a try. I'm sure you'll find it intuitive and easy to work with. But if you just like the demo houses, you can grab one of them and know that if you ever want to modify them, it'll be easy and fun. Since this is more of an ad video, I won't ask you to join my Patreon, but please subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps a ton. Thanks so much. Stay creative and have a great one.